If you walk through the old streets of Cognac in France, you will notice something strange. Many buildings and rooftops here are covered in a layer of deep black, looking like burn marks or soot gathered over a very long time. But this is not ash. In a place with no heavy industry, this black layer is the physical trace of something invisible: alcohol evaporating. These walls are, quite literally, drinking. So, why would a wine town be stained black? And why? Does that trace lead to a luxury industry worth billions of euros? To understand Cognac, do not begin at the bar. Begin inside the ship. Welcome to Everyday Things Explained. The shipping mistake. Cognac did not begin with luxury. It began with a logistics problem of the 16th century. How do you ship wine across the ocean without losing money? At the time, wine was a terrible cargo. It took up too much space, it could turn sour during long journeys, and its value per unit of volume was not high enough to optimize profit. For Dutch merchants, cargo hold space was money. So they decided to compress wine by distilling it. In simple terms, they removed some of the water and kept the concentrated alcohol. They called it Brandewijn, burnt wine. The original idea was to transport concentrated wine to save space, then add water back at the destination and sell it again. But while sitting in oak barrels throughout the long journey, the liquid changed in an unexpected way. It became less harsh, it turned amber, and it carried the flavor of wood. The most valuable thing was no longer just inside the alcohol. It was in what the transport industry had accidentally added: time and wood. Brandy is a method. Cognac is a place. So what is the difference between brandy and cognac? Remember this: brandy is the technique, cognac is the address. Brandy is a spirit distilled from fruit, anywhere. But a bottle can only be called cognac if it comes from the correct protected region in France. Cognac is not just a name. It is a standardized system, protected as part of trade infrastructure. A producer somewhere else may make excellent alcohol, but if the region is wrong or the process is wrong, that name is closed. The bad wine that worked. But the law does not only protect the name, it also controls the raw material. And here is the paradox. Cognac begins with a wine most of us would not want to drink a second glass. The Ugni Blanc grape accounts for up to 98% of the area in this region. As a table wine, Ugni Blanc is a failure. It is too acidic and too low in alcohol. But in engineering, the best material is not the most beautiful one at the beginning. It is the material most suitable for the process that comes after. High acidity helps the base wine remain naturally stable, without chemicals. Cognac does not need a wine that is delicious to drink immediately. It needs a wine that is right for transformation. The base wine does not need to be charming before it passes through the copper still. Copper, fire, and a deadline. After the raw material comes the Charente copper machine. It distills twice to select the most refined part. And here, everything is bound by a harsh deadline. March 31st. Distillation must be completed before midnight on March 31st after the harvest to reduce the risk of quality decline. As the clock runs, the copper stills must work continuously. When time takes its cut. When the alcohol enters oak barrels, it begins the most expensive process, waiting. Oak has tiny pores that allow the alcohol to slowly exchange with the air. But time is not free. A portion of the alcohol truly disappears. Locals call it the angel's share, the share of the angels. According to 2025 data, this loss is equivalent to around 41 million bottles each year. The alcohol vapor that escapes become food for the black fungus we saw at the wall. That black wall is not dirt. It is proof that time is working. France makes it. The world drinks it. The greatest paradox is this: The French created cognac, protected it with the strictest laws, but they barely drink it themselves. Data from 2025 shows that 97.5% of cognac's value lies in international markets. For the French, wine is everyday culture. Cognac is a strong foreign currency for global trade. In 2025, it was present in 139 countries, bringing in more than €2.2 billion in export revenue. Don't drink the myth. Read the system. When you look at an expensive product, ask what system created it. However, no matter how interesting the history is, cognac is still an alcoholic drink. The WHO and the CDC both emphasize, not drinking alcohol is the safest choice for health, especially for people who are underage. The next time you see a black wall in the cognac region, you will know it is not dirt. It is the trace of alcohol disappearing. But if one shipping mistake could create cognac, then why are modern containers almost the same size all over the world? At least this was one shipping mistake where nobody had to call customer service to complain. They only had to wait a few years. Thank you for watching Everyday Things Explained. See you in the next episode.